Okay, think about that song that's been stuck in your head all week, the one you have on repeat. Ever stop and wonder how that sound, that entire vibe, went from a small party in one neighborhood to basically taking over the entire planet? Well, today, we're going to break down exactly how hip hop became the undisputed king of music. I mean, seriously, go look at any streaming chart right now. Go ahead, I'll wait. You're going to see hip hop dominating everything. It's not just a little popular, it is absolutely running the game, towering over rock and pop. It's pretty much become the soundtrack for our generation. So, the big question is, how did that happen? How does something get that big? It's kind of wild when you realize this whole global movement was kicked off by a handful of teenagers pretty much just messing around in their own neighborhood. To get it, we've got to jump in a time machine and go all the way back to the 1970s. We're heading to a place called the Bronx in New York City. Now, forget everything you know about fancy studios and record labels. This all began at local block parties, where kids were creating a whole new culture from scratch. You see, for these kids, this was so much more than just a hobby. It was a way for them to finally be heard. Imagine feeling like you don't really have a voice. Well, this was it. This was their way to build a community, to talk about their lives, and to show the world, hey, we're here, and this is what we can do. So, hip-hop wasn't just about making beats. It was a whole culture, right? And it was built on 4 key skills. You can think of them like different classes in a video game, each one totally unique but all essential for the team. First up, you've got DJing. The DJ was the absolute heart of the party. They had 2 turntables, and their mission was to find the best part of a song, usually a drum solo called a break, and loop it again and again, creating this nonstop beat. It's kind of like finding the most epic part of a TikTok sound and just letting it roll to create a whole new vibe. And grooving over that beat, you had the MC, or the master of ceremonies. At first, they were just there to hype up the crowd, but soon they started telling stories and dropping complex rhymes. This became rapping. And the rap battles? Oh man, they were like epic multiplayer showdowns, but your weapons were clever words and a killer flow. And this is the key right here. Rapping became the voice of the streets. It was like a news report, a diary, and poetry all rolled into one. It gave artists a platform to describe exactly what was going on around them and share their point of view with anyone who would listen. Then there's the visual element, graffiti. This is how hip-hop made its mark on the city itself. Artists would use spray cans to turn walls and entire subway trains into their personal canvases. Your tag was everything. It was like your unique gamer tag or your @handle. The goal was to get it seen everywhere and become famous for your style. And finally, you have breaking. As soon as that DJ dropped the perfect break beat, the B-boys and B-girls would hit the floor. We're talking mind-blowing acrobatics and super athletic moves. Dance crews would battle it out on pieces of cardboard, pulling off these insane power moves, and then stopping on a dime in these impossible poses called freezes. Okay, so we've got this incredible culture cooking in one borough of New York City. So how does it break out? How does it go from a local party to being blasted out of stereos and TVs all over the globe? Well, it happened piece by piece. First, a few rap songs were actually recorded, and they became surprise hits. That proved people outside the neighborhood were listening. Then radio stations started to play them. But the real explosion? That was music videos on TV. Suddenly, everyone could see the fashion, the dancing, the whole culture. And that's when the big record labels knew this was the next big thing. And you can really see the shift. It went from being this live, spontaneous thing at a party to being polished in a professional studio. The gear got a major upgrade, from 2 turntables and a microphone to powerful samplers and drum machines. And instead of just spreading by word of mouth, it was now being broadcast to the whole world. And that new tech, sampling, was a total game changer. It let producers take tiny little snippets of sound from old records, a cool drum beat, a funky bass line, and weave them together to create a totally new song. It was like the ultimate remix. You could think of it like building a brand new level in a video game, using cool assets and mods you found from other creators. So at this point, hip-hop isn't just getting bigger. It's becoming this massive cultural force. It started influencing, well, pretty much everything. It was officially way more than just music. The influence was everywhere. The fashion, the tracksuits, the fresh sneakers, that blew up into the multi-billion-dollar streetwear industry we have today. The artists themselves became entrepreneurs, starting their own record labels and clothing lines. The slang from the songs worked its way into how everybody talked. And maybe coolest of all, artists in places like Japan, France, and Brazil took the art form and made it their own, telling their stories in their language.
It's like hip-hop became this universal language. It didn't matter where you were from. The core ideas of expressing yourself, of being creative, and of telling your story, that resonated with young people everywhere and connected all these different cultures.
So after this incredible journey, what's the legacy? What's the main takeaway from all this? And what does the future hold? If you remember one thing, let it be this. Hip-hop proves that a creative spark, even from just a few people in one neighborhood, can truly grow into a force that changes the entire world. It just shows you how powerful your own voice and your own story can be. When you think about it, that's what hip-hop gave to a generation. It gave them the tools, the turntables, the rhymes, the spray cans, the dance moves, to show the world who they were. So that just leaves one final question. What story will you tell?